Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned From Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned From Ringside podcast, we have your NXT TakeOver in your house recap. Samoa Joe shows up on NXT. I marked out AEW has a pretty good show, and they're heading towards their next pay-per-view, and we got your Hell in a Cell predictions for 2021. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned From Ringside podcast.
This is Banned From Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned From Ringside podcast.
You were doing so well.
It was perfect. It was fucking perfect.
One take.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned From Ringside podcast. As always, I am your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. the world's greatest parallel smarker. And sitting to my left in sweltering St. Charles, Missouri, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Allow us to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned From Ringside podcast, volume 210, chapter 3, verse 14 of the Good Smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. I was going to spell out boo the heels today, but I was like, I didn't feel like doing that shit. You know, I don't feel like showing off this early in the pod. Interesting week of wrestling. Caught up on my Stardom for the week, so I'm a little jacked up on that. Probably a little on the lack of sleep, but there was other good wrestling, non-Stardom related. We're going to catch up on that, and then obviously talk about a little Hell in a Cell. I want to hear your take on Roman versus Rey Mysterio. I think I know who's going to win, but I want to hear what your take on the build for that is.
I have a take.
I know you do.
Like I said, we're coming at you from, it is hot out here. We're on the back porch, so we can smoke, but it is hot as shit out here.
Tomorrow's going to be even higher. They're talking about 106.
Zach is on his way to Portland. Zach is not joining us tonight. It's just a two-handed show, just me and Jason right now, just the way we always wanted it, baby.
Right.
Before Zach moved
Muscling
in.
his ass in.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys got a podcast? Wrestling? Let me get on.
Me and you on the patio of Jack Patrick's at 2:30 in the morning, just
Yelling
banging
our ass
smokes,
off.
yelling at each other. People are like, you talk about wrestling?
Of course, asshole.
Before we get too far into it, I do want to tell you about Bill's Beard Company. Now, listen, I have a kid on the way, guys.
True story.
So my wife started selling this stuff while she's been with child, because she's not teaching as much yoga these days, but she is making beard oils, beard balms, beard shampoos, shower bombs, bath bombs, all that stuff, man. Perfect for the dad in your life with Father's Day coming up, even though if you contacted me right now, I don't think I could send it to you in time, but fuck it. Just give your dad a gift next week, too.
There you go. I was getting ready to say, there's no reason that you couldn't get dad two gifts. Dads are usually the ones that get shafted in this whole
They really do.
holiday deal to begin with. Mother's Day, we roll out the red carpet. We stumble over the red carpet trying to get that joker out. Dad's Day is like, hey, here's your socks, Dad.
Well, I mean, it's my, everybody keeps telling me it's my first Father's Day. And it's kind of like, everybody's like, what do you want for Father's Day? It's like, just leave me the fuck alone. Let me go, let me go golf.
I was about to say, you better get used to that question. That's going to be coming up for
I'm going to
minute.
see a band Saturday night, and then I'm golfing. Aaron's gone all weekend. So, that's pretty cool.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm looking forward
she's
to
gone all weekend?
Well, I mean, she's not gone all weekend, but she's out of the house for most of the weekend doing yoga teacher training. So we are. So I got. It could get. Let's just say this: I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm not looking forward to Monday.
Mom's home.
And with it, well, it's just I got to work, man. I'm
Yeah,
not looking forward to a hangover.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be hungover from here until Monday, because I'm just going to
keep drinking.
Yeah, you got to outdrink the
Why
hangover.
Stop the fucking train if you ain't got to.
Without further ado, let's get to that 3 count.
Please.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick it off.
Of course, so on this podcast, we do things chronologically. Saturday night, I just want to throw that out there. Omega beat Zeus. Omega beat Moose against All Odds to retain the Impact title. Good match, Young Buck fuckery. If you get a chance, check it out. Jumping to Sunday, however, the 1 count is NXT TakeOver in your house. The main event being a fatal 5-way with Karrion Kross as the champion versus Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano. I saw a little text on our group thread that someone said that this was the worst takeover ever. I won't say that person's name, but he is sitting to my immediate right. I can't sit there and say that it's the worst takeover ever, but I can't say it's the best takeover ever. There was definitely some holes.
Was Reba on the group chat? Were you on the group chat? Reba's sitting directly to your right.
Were you taking Bill's phone? Were you on the group chat?
She's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
She's like, yeah, motherfucker. She gave me the head nod.
Food?
Like, yeah. Right. Okay, you ain't talking to me. Never mind. I'll just start with the main event because obviously that's, the focus of the card itself. Karrion Kross obviously retains. I think he put Kyle O'Reilly to sleep, if I'm not mistaken. It was
O'Reilly.
I'll go this far. We've been complaining on this pod about making Karrion Kross look strong. Okay? This is, I think, the way they wanted to do it. Right or wrong, this is the way they wanted to do it. Because every time it felt like somebody else not named Karrion Kross was putting up offense, Kross either fended it off or he got to a point where he rolled out of the ring, recovered, got back into the ring, and got back into the fray.
Right.
So for me, this was more about making Kross more of a legitimate champion because I know you've had problems with this title run up to this point. I don't necessarily think this is the way to go about it, but it was the way they decided to do it.
My problem is not with the performer, and I've made that clear. The problem is, I don't understand what the act is. It doesn't seem like he and Scarlett are part of the same package. It's like she looks like she's a vampire or something, and he's wearing some sort of gladiator what would you call it, kilt?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a gladiator outfit for sure.
I mean, and there was a little bit of, like I said last week, it's like I can't tell if he's a face or a heel. They were certainly coming at him like he was taking on all comers
as the baby face.
Yeah, he was.
I don't want to just wrestle one. I'll wrestle all four.
And we'll get into Tuesday night in a little bit, but I like Karrion Kross. I really do. I absolutely hated this match. Hated it. And there were parts of this match that were absolutely brilliant and parts that I really liked. And a lot of them didn't involve Karrion Kross. I mean, he did say to William Regal Tuesday night, I took out the Mount Rushmore of NXT. And, that's... I don't know if Pete Dunne would be there, but, I mean, it is... The sentiment is the same. I mean, he beat O'Reilly, Gargano, Pete Dunne, and Adam Cole.
That would be on this Mount Rushmore.
The reason I hated this match is there was so much selling. I mean, it's hard for me to say that, but the biggest problem that people have with triple threat matches a lot, right, is that one guy's always selling on the outside and then there's just two guys in the middle.
Right.
And when I was watching at the beginning, Karrion Kross was there was one after the other, and he would put one out and then the other one would come in. But throughout the entire match, there were always three guys selling, either on the outside or in the ring. And the one time that Karrion Kross went out, then there was some legit great stuff. Right. I mean, and that's not on Karrion Kross. That's because those four guys are legit fucking great. It's too many guys to have in the match. It needed to be more chaotic, and it wasn't chaotic. It was almost like a gauntlet match, kind of, until the end. I don't mind them making Karrion Kross look strong, but then you fast forward to Tuesday night, and the one count's all about NXT. You fast forward to Tuesday night, you have Samoa Joe make his entrance. I watched it last night. I did not know Samoa Joe was coming out. I guess I'm the only fucking person in the internet wrestling community that didn't expect Samoa Joe to come out. But I marked out. I popped. I was like, oh, shit, here we go. That's cool, because I thought Samoa Joe was going to be the new GM. It's interesting that he's Regal's enforcer, but that's not what we're talking about now. But you had Karrion Kross kind of back down to him.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute. Now he just goes over all these guys, and then he backs down to a guy that's technically kayfabe style, not a competitor. True. So it's like you kind of wasted whatever you did.
Yeah, when you say it like that, and I guess I was just caught up in the Joe moment of, okay, you got to stare down with Joe and Kross.
Love Joe.
This is intriguing television, I never tripped off of the fact that, all the work that you did on Sunday night was kind of a little bit unraveling in front of you, because Cross should have at least stepped to the plate and been like, hey, fuck this.
He should never have acted scared.
No, at least, get in his face, get real close, burst that bubble. There's no 6 feet of separation type shit. Get in his bubble and see what's up.
Because he was clearly a heel Tuesday night.
Oh, without question.
I mean, Regal comes out. I mean, we can talk about it now.
Yeah.
Regal comes out. Regal does the old okey doke.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Henry. I thought he was done, too.
Yeah, I'm like, man, motherfucker.
It's like, this guy can fucking act.
Yeah, he had, because I was getting pissed. I'm like, because I avoided all the spoilers, so I was just as surprised as Joe. Maybe not as surprised, but, still it's a good surprise. I'm like, this motherfucker's getting ready to quit. I'm watching this, I'm getting pissed, because I'm like, man, who's going to replace fucking William Regal? Nobody can replace Regal. I'm rolling in my head, working myself up.
He came out to no music. Like, even the way he walked looked apologetic. He was like, he was a guy that was coming out to retire.
Seemingly.
It looked like real tears. I mean, he was the Mark Henry. I know that. Oh yeah, he got me too. He worked me.
Yeah.
I was like, and then when Joe came out, I popped, and I was like, oh shit! It was halftime of the Hawks game. You guys can stick around after the show where me and Jason talk about the Hawks game for about 30 minutes. It was halftime of the Hawks game, and I just put it on, and I was going to watch the rest of it today, but I wasn't watching anything else, and I popped. I was like, this is cool. That's a cool role for Joe. And now I think it's even a cooler role for Joe, the way that they played it out throughout the show.
Being, like you said, the enforcer of, you must respect his authority.
Definitely. But I did say it was the worst takeover ever, and it wasn't any of the performers' faults. I'll always, there are times I'll blame the performer, but not here. I like Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross looked like he was fighting the Lollipop Guild and looked like he was winning against all 4 of them. I just don't know why would they book a 5-way Why would they book a 5-way to have Karrion Kross go over like that if you're not going to make the entire match just complete chaos? Too much selling. You'll never hear me say that. Too much selling.
I can't say I totally disagree with that. I'll just say this. That was my point coming into the match itself. Even though you had a bunch of really good names, good talent that could, have good chemistry and deliver this match, I thought it was probably just one guy too many. If you want to do that route, if you want to have all 5 guys in, then do a gauntlet match or do like a tournament, and then the winner gets Karrion Kross, something like that.
Do a gauntlet match. Have Karrion Kross come out first,
right? If you
have him go over, because every time it was Karrion Kross versus one of those other guys, I was like, man, I'd watch the fuck out of this match, just these 2 guys.
Easily. Him and Pete Dunne easily attracted my attention.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Him and Adam Cole, they had a nice little build coming
badass.
up to it. So, I mean, you had those individual matches, and that's where I think, I won't say they dropped the ball, but if I had the pencil, I would have just did it differently. It's neither here nor there. I don't think, like I said, the match itself got at least for me, the established goal accomplished. It was to make Karrion Kross look like not the most, but a legitimate champion, as strong as humanly possible. And that's the way this whole match kind of came out, because nobody really looked as good as Kross. People had their spots, people had their moments, but for me, it was really about Kross and how he was seemingly fending off all comers to finally take down the one guy that he said on the World Press Conference that was the one guy he was scared of the most, Kyle O'Reilly. So take it for what it's worth. Like I said, it's not the way I would have done it, but it wasn't like the match was bad. I just think that they booked it in a way I wouldn't have done.
And Kyle O'Reilly has kind of been defined down now. I mean, he's seemingly out of the main event picture because he went and challenged Kushida for the North American,
No, it's really based around Adam Cole, and they're going to have a match in like 3 weeks, the week of July 4th or whatever, that Tuesday. I guess that's the 6th or whatever. But Regal was like, Kyle O'Reilly, you have to pick a match with someone. Adam Cole, you have to pick a match with someone. So Kyle O'Reilly comes out in that Kushida Open Challenge match or whatever, and I thought he was going to pick, I don't know what Blake Christian's name is. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Something Baxter.
Trey Baxter. And I was thinking, it would be Trey Baxter, but Kushida's fine too. I mean, actually, if they wanted to connect the dots, they can make this a New Japan deal, talk about how they had some New Japan matches, their connection there, and then kind of spin it forward. I don't have a problem with that. Ultimately, it's just going to boil down to this Kyle O'Reilly match. Does Kyle O'Reilly go over in a match that maybe leans towards Adam Cole? Is this Adam Cole's swan song to finally go up to the main roster? We've been hearing rumblings about a WWE draft coming up. I mean, what more, if you're Adam Cole, can you do on NXT that you haven't already done except, do it again? So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how, that Kushida Kyle O'Reilly match unfolds, who Adam Cole Bebe's opponent is, I guess, either next week or the week after, and then the build up to their eventual match in 3 weeks.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning now that we started at the end. We had MSK and Bronson Reed versus Santos Escobar and his boys, Legado del Fantasma. Bronson Reed and MSK go over in what was a predictably high-energy match, not a whole lot of selling, a lot of big spots.
Right.
What did you think of that match?
It was fine. I guess the stip for me still kind of sticks in my craw a little bit. It wasn't something, once again, I would have done. I'd rather them just do 2 separate matches. If you didn't want to do 5-6 matches on TakeOver, have one on TakeOver, one on NXT television, on Tuesday. But the match was good. I just wasn't a big fan of the stip. It made it feel like it was really predictable in that scenario, especially with Bronson Reed being, crowned a new North American champion. It'd have been really hard to justify the fact that you take it off of him within, a couple of weeks of him being the champion. MSK, I think, is going to get a long run as tag team champions. Thatcher and Ciampa won the Tornado match main event on Tuesday, so they'll be next.
Should have been on the.
Should have been on the. Yeah, so if it's in Bloods for Kenny and Nuts, the match, like I said, was good. I just didn't like the stip, and I didn't like the build to this match itself. But the physical match itself, I thought was good.
Sure, yeah, of course. Those are all guys that are fun to watch in the ring, and MSK, obviously, they are high flyers. They rule. It just felt like, you can see that match on AEW Dynamite any Wednesday, Really? With the type of spots that they were having.
Yeah, but it's not like they were doing things that were out of their arsenal. Okay, nobody was doing anything that I was just like, well, you never do that before. It was basically, these were the styles that they came in with, and they melted into this match. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily the way I would have done it. I just hate. This is either you need, like trios titles and do it that way, or have 2 separate matches and do it that way. This winner take all just doesn't feel like it's unpredictable enough to where it makes me get invested.
That's exactly right. Couldn't agree more. We had Zia Lee versus Mercedes Martinez in a match. It was a match that happened.
He said it was a match that happened.
Didn't feel like a TakeOver match.
Not at all. This was definitely should have been on NXT television. Mei Ying, I guess that's where I want to start with this first. Feels like she's overshadowing Xia Li and Bao. We did a whole week after week after week, segment of watching Bao and Xia Li just getting basically murdered week after week after week by Mei Ying, and then next thing you know, you look up, and now you see someone that's not Xia Li, having the most memorable moment of the match. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. Xia Li won, but what I remember about it is Mercedes Martinez flying into that gate because she there to step to Mei Ying.
I think it's
or Mei Ying. I'm sorry.
I think that Mercedes Martinez is a cooler performer, a cooler act. I like Mercedes Martinez quite a bit. I think that she needs to be in a different spot. There's stuff happening. I really do.
She can't go back to the main roster.
No, I want her to be at the top of the card. I would rather her be the champion than Raquel Gonzalez. And we can go to that now because there's not much more to say about the other match. Raquel Gonzalez goes over Ember Moon with some chicanery. Dakota Kai comes out. This match, I've said it before on here, I don't think Raquel Gonzalez is good enough to be in this spot.
With the talent that they have on this roster, it's hard to justify the fact that she is in this spot. Maybe, 6 months, a year from now, you could put her in this spot. It would get some of that green off the apple because I think we all agree on the pod itself that Raquel has some green to her. There are those moments that she looks a little rookie-ish, but her size, her strength, just, she basically towers over the entire division, so that makes her that spectacle that WWE/NXT likes. Okay, I get that part. I'll just say this. Once again, this was a fairly predictable match because you had Shotzi in the back pocket, because that's basically what this is really all about. It has nothing to do with Ember Moon. It's the fact that she being Raquel took out Shotzi Blackheart. I'll just say this. At some point, we're going to have to get Dakota and Raquel away from each other to get Raquel the heat that you want as the heel champion.
100%.
Okay. I thought that they would do Dakota Kai as the champion first and have the Shawn Michaels Diesel kind of relationship, and then you could split them off there and then have Raquel be the huge babyface. Obviously, that's not the way they're going to do it. At some point during this tag team chase that they're going to go on, Dakota Kai is going to do something that where Raquel's going to be like, you know what, fuck this shit. I don't need you. This is where you have the ultimate snap, where you have them ultimately split paths. When we get there, I'm not sure. It just, I guess that's where I'm going to go back with this running theme about TakeOver for Sunday. The matches were good. The finishes were just kind of predictable. There wasn't enough where I was like, oh, wait, is this? Now, the only one that I thought was the one that I had the hardest pick for on our predictions was the ladder match. And that's the one that
was the best match of the night.
At the end, where we had LA Knight winning, even though I picked Cameron Grimes, I didn't have a problem with LA Knight winning. It just, for me,
it could have gone either way.
It could have gone either way. You could do Cameron Grimes as the over-the-top funny $1 Million Man gimmick, where he just, he's just doing all kinds of crazy shit and just doing the shit for the comedy effect. Or you could have went with LA Knight, who kind of fit the original gimmick, but just had the 2021 twist to it. His, LA Knight / Eli Drake spin to it. No. And when he jumped him on Tuesday night or whatever, I was like, okay, thank you. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
This match wasn't great. It was certainly a good ladder match.
Yeah.
They did everything that you want to see in a ladder match. They did the big spots. They did the climbing up the ladder slow. I love watching Cameron Grimes wrestle. I really do. I'm a big Cameron Grimes guy. He is the reason I watch wrestling. It is
in and out of the ring.
Out of the ring.
His character is funny out of the ring, and he can go inside the ring.
Yes, and he's very comfortable on the mic. Obviously, he's funnier than shit. I like him versus LA Knight. That's a rivalry that you didn't think that you needed until you saw it, and you're like, actually, this makes sense. I thought this match was very good. I would have given it, 3.75 stars, and that was the best match of the night. That is not a takeover to me. Do you disagree? Would you give it more?
Well, no, I'm not even worried about the number. I was more worried about you saying that this was the best takeover match of the night.
Didn't feel like a takeover.
It didn't feel like a takeover, but and I don't think it was meant to feel like a takeover.
It was a takeover, though.
It was a takeover.
I can't stress this enough. It was a takeover.
No, it was a takeover.
It was called NXT TakeOver.
No, it was a takeover. It didn't feel like a takeover just for the fact that you just didn't have those big. You didn't even have like usually to take over to me is like you got two really big matches. I'm like, they invested time into this. There's a title on the line, or it might be a blood feud, something along the lines like that. Gargano and Ciampa, comes immediately out, into my head.
Well, even in the one that they had during the pandemic when there were no fans, the Gargano Ciampa was awesome. It was kind of cinematic, but it was in the ring.
Oh, is that where Candice kicked Ciampa low or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even that was fucking awesome. It was like a 35-minute match. It fucking ruled, and that was with no fans. And to me, it just really fell flat. And it kind of looked like it was going to fall flat on paper.
Okay.
And you were hoping they were going to exceed expectations.
And that's what I was going to say.
And they didn't.
If you looked at it, wasn't like we were hyped up for this takeover by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that's usually a good indication of what we felt about this coming into it. It's not like we treat NXT like the main roster. We still have excitement for it. But nobody was really hyped for this NXT takeover like we are for normal NXT takeovers.
We don't,
or when we go back to.
We've never gone back in time and been like, oh, we're gonna watch every single Hell in a Cell, or we're gonna watch every single Money in the Bank. We've gone back and watched as a podcast more than 20 takeovers, just going back in time and doing it just because they're so good and so much fun to compare, and it's such a different experience.
You didn't have that quality Sami Zayn Nakamura match with no title on the line, and they just rolled the ball out and then just let them have a 4.5 star
War Raiders versus Mustache Mountain. I mean, shit like that.
You didn't. None of those matches were at that level. So I will agree with you on that. This didn't feel like a takeover. Was it the worst takeover? Probably not. I think if you stop and think about it, we can go back, and there were far worse takeovers than this.
I disagree. I think even at the beginning when there were a couple of
there was some shaky takeovers, buddy.
Yeah, there were some shaky takeovers, but there was always one match that transcended everything.
Okay, that's fair.
There was never. I can't remember a takeover. I don't think there's ever been a takeover, even when we did the takeover do-overs, where there was the worst match was less than like a 4 or a 4.25. And I think I'm kind of grading Grimes and LA Knight on a curve because everything else was so bad. And I again, this is not the fault of the performers. This is a booking thing. It's because they didn't put the time to build up this shit, and they have weekly shows to do it. So that's our takeover review, basically. Now let's talk about that LA Knight turning on Ted DiBiase.
Saw it coming.
I kind of saw it coming.
I was like, I said it on Twitter. I was like, if he doesn't flip on Ted DiBiase right now, there is a problem. He is acting way too humble.
I think that the delivery of his humble promo to Ted DiBiase beforehand was a shoot, though. I think that him saying, you know what, every time we'd wrestle when we were little kids, he's like, one of us would always be Ted DiBiase. He's like, we were always playing around. He's like, you were on my TV when I watched it with my uncles and my dad all the time, or whatever he said. He goes, Ted DiBiase was on my TV all the time. I felt like it was sincere, which is the makings of a good promo.
Yeah.
And then he turned on him perfectly. I mean,
I dropped what I don't need. I was like, oh, shit.
I loved it, and I'm glad that the Cameron Grimes LA Knight feud isn't over.
No, it shouldn't be over. Just the way that the ladder match ended, I didn't think it was going to be over. And the fact that, you doubled down on it, and you had LA Knight attack DiBiase with Cameron Grimes making the save. Clearly, it's going to extend. I guess my only question is, are we defending the $1 million title? Or is this just going to be, we're going to have Grimes and LA Knight just feud it out just because, you attack Ted DiBiase? So I guess that's the question.
Baron Corbin is still walking around as King Corbin. I mean, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, good point.
Io Shirai and Candice LeRae got into it. I mean, whatever. I thought this was I remember thinking this is a pretty good. We really should get into Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe is now William Regal's enforcer. William Regal is sticking around as the GM, and Samoa Joe is going to be his enforcer. His first, William Regal says, you're not allowed to attack anybody unless you're provoked. And it looks like that's going to happen a whole bunch.
See, you bump me, you're going to sleep.
Right. He choked out Adam Cole when Adam Cole. I mean, Adam Cole's protected there, though, because he didn't know Samoa Joe was there. Samoa Joe's just choked him out. Him and Kyle O'Reilly were getting into it. I thought he was going to choke out Indy Hartwell, or not Indy Hartwell.
No, you can't do that.
The gals that were yelling at Raquel Gonzalez.
Indy and, not Indy, but Ember and Shotzi Blackheart.
Ember and Shotzi Blackheart. I thought he was going to choke one of them out, which personally I would have loved. I thought that was like just have Samoa Joe just choke out everybody.
Males, females, doesn't matter.
But I mean, when Pete Dunne comes up to Samoa Joe, and after Gargano and Austin Theory come in and kind of make fun of him, and Pete Dunne comes in and just stares him down, it's like,
we're talking.
I could get after this. This looks fun
go ahead
to me.
And touch him. Go ahead and touch him. Let's see what happens.
So I mean, Samoa Joe has to have matches here, right?
The mark in me would love to think so. Maybe one or two. I think the whole reason he's not wrestling more is the injuries, whether it's concussion or otherwise, that have kind of limited his time in the ring. I think we get at least a match or two. I just don't think that we get anything, like a part-time run or a surprise, title run or anything along those lines. Somewhere down the line, somebody is going to really attack Regal where Joe's not around or he's attending to other things, something along those lines, and that's the match we'll get. I'm not looking for it anytime soon. I'm looking for Joe just to come in, be the marshal of Dodge City, restore order, and then at some point we'll get a Joe match, but just not right away.
I would love to see a Regal and Joe match versus Austin
Theory and Johnny Gargano. Yeah, I was going to say that makes sense to me.
I mean, Regal, for those of you that don't remember Regal fighting, Regal was one of the best technical in-ring guys that has ever lived. Like, he was fucking awesome. Southpaw. Oh, yeah. I loved watching.
That's what made it even worse. He was a southpaw, and he would be this great technical wrestler. And on the top of it,
great punch too. He had a great punch.
His character in ring was just as good outside of the ring. You know what I'm saying? It just translated to where that outside of the ring character blended inside of the ring. Not the Mountie, but it wasn't the Mountie, but it was kind of like that. That same kind of gimmick. Can't think of what it was, but he was like almost like a lumberjack, and he would come in and he would have like the half shirt on or whatever.
That was WCW, right?
I think so.
He was Steven Regal.
Yeah, but it was like they had a whole song with it, and
right.
It just still translated to where that character still was good in and outside of the ring. Same the way with WWE.
And then finally, we had the main event that should have been on TakeOver. It was Thatcher and Ciampa versus Grizzly Young Veterans in an absolute banger of a tornado tag match. When Ciampa put what's-his-face down and the table didn't break, that looked fucking brutal.
Zach Gibson, yeah. It was right before that they threw Ciampa through that NXT ramp, and it just crushed, and then Ciampa like bounced up. I was like, oh, that bounce didn't look good, or that bump didn't look like it was right. I'd much rather have that Ciampa bump than what Zach Gibson did. That was an air raid that went literally, you could have just went on the concrete. That table did not fucking budge. It was like straight stripped from NJPW over to NXT, and they put that joker right there, and it didn't budge. I felt bad for Zach Gibson. That motherfucker, ugh. Great match, though. It was a really great match. I'm glad they got this thing done because now you at least have them.
Was it better than any match on NXT TakeOver?
The majority of them, yes.
Was it better than any match on NXT TakeOver, those 5 matches? Did you like LA Knight and Grimes better than Ciampa and Thatcher versus Grizzly Young Veterans?
No.
I didn't either. I thought it was a better match.
Yeah. That was good. The build was good. It made sense, and then the match delivered. And that was the kind of match. If you'd have made that just like a standard rules match, it might not have been as good. The fact that you just rolled out the ball and just said, fuck it, go out for 20 minutes and do what the hell you want to do, just made that match even better. It got Champlin and Thatcher over. They're getting MSK somewhere down the line. That probably should have been the tag team match on this TakeOver. So that's what, ultimately, like you said, to me, the TakeOver is nothing about the talent. It's more about how we got there, the booking to it, the whole shebang.
But here's the thing to look forward to is that if they do it right, we're going to get Thatcher and Ciampa versus MSK at the SummerSlam around their TakeOver, which
that's still a little bit of ways. I mean,
as long as you can build towards it, both of them can have matches.
That's like 6 weeks.
Well, fuck it. You can have 6 weeks of build. Like, they do it all the time.
Okay.
Just figure it out. Just have somebody hurt somebody else and have them be out for 3 weeks and then have some vignettes. Let me book the territory.
Give him the pencil, goddammit.
Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, the 2 count is AEW Friday Night Dynamite. They got pushed back due to the NBA playoffs once again. Pretty good show. There was still some stuff that I guess. Well, let's
get into it.
We'll
Let's
just
get
talk
into it.
about
Let's
it.
break it
Okay,
down.
so it starts off with Christian versus Angelico, a match that I enjoyed quite a bit.
Angelico is one of those guys, I think, that if you have this NJPW, ROH, AEW partnership, I would love to see him in like a Best of Super Juniors or like a tournament along those
He's
lines.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's kind of got a little Zack Sabre in him.
Yeah, very much so. If Zack Sabre Jr. wasn't around, Angelico would be one of those guys that I would point at to arguably be one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. That him being that guy versus Christian, more so of the brawler in this match. It was a nice little dichotomy of styles, and then obviously you had the Matt Hardy takeaway at the end, which I have to give Lucha Chris credit on this one. Apparently, they've only had 2 matches between Christian and Matt Hardy.
No. I'm not giving Lucha Chris any credit on this at all. So they've had 2 singles matches. How many fucking tag matches have they had?
Obviously, that's what we were talking about.
They fought also. My problem is not that they've only had 2, or that we've never seen them singles. Is that we've seen them wrestle each other so many times
in tag matches, in whatever form or fashion.
They have touched each other in a wrestling ring on television 1,000,000 times,
without question. Okay, so at that point, I see the trepidation.
Listen, I appreciate Christopher Murray, whatever the fuck his name is these days. I appreciate him going and getting the stats for me.
Right.
Thank you, Lucha Chris, for going and getting the stats. But that's not what I'm saying. And even he said that. He goes, I know that's not the point you were making, but still, I just don't want to see it. They're 2 guys that are 50 years old. I don't want to see that match. Listen, I'll watch Christian fight a lot, guys, because Christian took a bunch of years off and seems like he still has a lot left in the tank. Seems like he can still go. He's still certainly viable and relevant.
For 15 minutes, I think you can get a good match out of Christian easily.
Absolutely, and he can be there to put guys over.
Jungle Boy, obviously.
Matt Hardy almost died in a match less than a year ago fighting Sammy Guevara. I mean, I don't know if I want to see Matt Hardy wrestle anymore. It's not because I'm being a bleeding heart or anything. It's just because
I'll say this, and I'm not going to sit here and say that, that Matt Hardy Sammy Guevara match wasn't extremely dangerous. We touched on it. Matt Hardy had no business in that ring at a certain point.
They weren't in the ring. He hit his head on concrete. They were in the mezzanine.
Right. I was going to say the match should have stopped without question. In this scenario, I think if this was Christian would, have the veteran experience to say, hey, something isn't right about Matt here. He doesn't look like he's physically present outside the the back of streets of AEW.
You mean if he was the opponent when Matt got knocked out?
Yeah. I think Christian would have at least led us away from, a restart of the match. Sammy Guevara is not going to try to, want to have this match stop.
That's not even my point, though.
I know, but that's kind of where I think we have a little bit of a difference. If that match was to happen and shit started to go left, Christian could be your safety net. Sammy Guevara was not trying to be a safety net in that match.
No, nor should he be. I mean, it's not like he was wrestling dangerous. It's not like it was his fault either.
No.
That is not what we're saying.
No.
I don't think Sammy Guevara did anything wrong in that match.
If it's anybody's fault, it's Tony Khan's fault. He let the match continue.
If it's okay. I was going to say if it's anybody's fault, it's Matt Hardy's fault. I mean, Matt Hardy's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. Sometimes guys just make wrong decisions.
Look, as a
Look
guy
at
that
Evander Holyfield. Fucking Oscar De La Hoya's getting back in the ring. Did you see that? He's going to box.
Stop,
He's boxing in September.
Stop playing with me right now. No, he is not boxing.
Oscar De La... I just saw it.
No, he's not boxing.
On the bottom line on SportsCenter.
You watch him. That motherfucker need that money.
I'm not out of my mind.
No, that motherfucker needs the money, okay? Floyd does it because he just wants to take everybody's money, not saying you pay for that nonsense. Floyd does it because he likes to take everybody's money because everybody hates Floyd so that they want to see him get knocked out. So he'll take your $50, $100, whatever the fuck he charged this time around.
I heard that Oscar De La Hoya put it all in GameStop. No, fuck it.
I was going to say, yeah. So that's why he's getting back in the ring.
I don't know.
Right? That makes sense.
Anyway, the biggest thing that I took away from this is I'd like to see more Angelico.
For sure.
Cody comes out. He's going to have a match next week against QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo with, man, Tony Schiavone really helped. He goes, Brock?
I was like,
Anderson.
I'm like, you motherfucker.
First, I expected them to say Lesnar, and then I expected them to go Anderson again, like Brock Anderson. But Brock Anderson looks a lot like his dad, Arn.
Dude, no doubt who the daddy is here. Maury is excused from this one.
At least wrestling is a meritocracy, At least nobody's getting, nobody's jumping up to the front of the line. Because
who you look like?
Because
you look like your daddy. Come on up front. Take this number right here. How long
you're
you been here?
A's
5
kid?
years?
Right.
Step on back. Move all right. You be here in a
So
second.
Cody is having a tag team match next week with Arn Anderson's kid against Cody's best friend and Anthony Ogogo. So it certainly does look like there's a little bit of favoritism going on here. Maybe it's not a meritocracy. Maybe that was a joke by yours truly.
Yeah,
I'm not that interested in this.
Breaking it down like that, there's not much interest in it. I'll say this much.
If Brock Anderson was a good finished product, we would have seen him already. That guy looked 30 years old.
I would assume that they would have him on Dark or something before, and maybe they have because I don't watch Dark. I don't watch Dark Elevation. Maybe he's had a match, and we haven't seen it yet. I'm with you on this one. If he was anything remotely good, I think we'd have seen him at least once.
Somewhere wrestling in the indies. But, I mean, Cody is certainly at a spot in his career where he can make decisions like this. I mean, it's not like Cody's dad was famous or anything. I mean, he worked his way up from the bottom.
Yeah, he was the son of a famous plumber.
Yeah, everybody, this is me talking shit about your boy, Cody Rhodes. Starting to get a little pissed at him.
No, man, look. If he's not going for the title, then he's got to have to do other shit. This is those other shit things.
Well, the other shit means putting over Arn Anderson's kid?
No, it should be putting over Anthony Ogogo, and they didn't do that. They put over QT Marshall, which didn't make sense.
Well, all right. So now we're getting somewhere, Jason.
Okay,
I think you and I are on the same page.
And this one, yes, we are. They should have put over Anthony Ogogo.
It's no fun when we agree.
No, not at all.
So Pac and Penta. Hey, by the way, what happened to that guy with Penta that was really good with him?
Yeah, his translator or whatever. Penta says, I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
He had a really long name that started with an A.
Yeah.
And it was very Hispanic, and I'm not even going to try to say it.
Hell no. I miss him. I mean,
he was good. That was good.
It was instant heat.
Yeah, it was good.
All he had to do was just come out.
What happened to that motherfucker?
I don't know. Hopefully, when they do their live tours again, start getting on the road, he comes back out because I think that would be a great way to get heat on Penta, but I don't think that Penta's a heel anymore. Maybe that's the reason why he disappeared.
Yeah, that's probably true. We had Penta and Pac and Eddie Kingston versus the Young Bucks, and I think this is another one of Cody's buddies, right? Anthony Cutler?
Brandon Cutler.
Brandon Cutler?
Yeah.
Isn't that another one of his buddies?
That's the one of the Bucks buddies.
Okay. I mean, I guess you brought me on this podcast because I'm your buddy. So I guess
no, you brought me on the podcast because I'm your buddy.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No, I'll say it. Shit, fuck it. For me, it's about Eddie Kingston at this point. It's really how can he mesh, and that was kind of the storyline coming in.
The Young Bucks were so good in
just
this.
over the fucking top as usual. God damn, dude. Do we have a heel of the year category?
We don't. We do have tag team of the year category though.
Okay, well, that to me is kind of more. Well, it's subjective. It's in and out of the ring. Bucks are probably going to be there at the end.
I'm really interested to see what happens with the Usos for the last 7 months of the year.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that here in a second. But just back on the Bucks, I think they're doing some of the best heel work I've ever seen them do. I didn't see a lot of them in New Japan doing their heel work, especially in the juniors, but that kind of carried over to this. Eddie Kingston, like I said, to me is the focus of this whole thing, because coming into this match, it was, Penta and Eddie could get along, but can Pac and Eddie get along? And for a minute, Pac was not trying to fuck with Eddie, not trying to tag him in. I would push opponent into our corner and tag in Penta, who's furthest away from me, because I trust him more. That's good ring psychology, and I can feel that. I have trust issues. I'll say that off the top. So motherfuckers I trust implicitly. Motherfuckers I don't trust anywhere near me.
I have a key to your apartment.
I trust you implicitly.
That feels nice.
Okay, so that's
I'm part of your inner circle.
You are part of the inner circle.
That's nice.
So that said, I love the fact that Pac, until the very end where, I have no choice, I'm getting my ass handed to me, and now I have to tag Eddie in because there's no resort. Penta's not even on the ring apron. That's when you tag Eddie in. From there, it's a good 6-man tag. Bucks are the Bucks. I mean, they can walk out and just get heat at this point. They're just so fucking good.
Eddie Kingston, when all this is said and done, as long as he has a pretty natural career from here on out, is going to be one of the most remarkable pro wrestling stories that you could have. I mean, because he is beloved by the
Wait till
AEW
they go
crowd.
on the road.
Oh, man, people are going to go fucking nuts for him.
Wait till Moxley comes back.
And he really, now you talk about a guy that earned it by... Now, he is Kofi Kingston's brother, but...
on his mama's side.
On his mama's side. But you talk about a guy that earned it. Like, he really did. He paid his dues. He was legit. He was content with being an indie wrestler. AEW starts. Moxley likes him. He comes in. He answers that open challenge against Cody. And all of a sudden, this guy, he has been at the top of the card. And now he's upper mid-card. And... I don't think anybody has a problem with him being there.
No.
I think he's fucking great. And
his promos are on point.
That's really fun to see, though.
Is really the story that I want to see continue. However it continues, that's the storyline I want to see going on. How you get Moxley back into the mix, neither here nor there. Obviously, they just had their baby. Congrats, Renee and John, for the baby. Once he comes back, that's where I think this is going to ramp up again, because now you're going to have Moxley and Kingston back on the hunt, and maybe they don't get a tag title shot, but maybe they're the thorn in the side of the Bucks, where Kaz is the other thorn in the side of the Bucks / Kenny Omega.
So I said some nice things, and now we're going to get into the part of the show.
You going to say some mean shit?
Not really mean, but Pinnacle comes out and they cut a promo. Perfectly serviceable promos. I particularly liked Dax Harwood's. That's the guy with the chops?
Bald-headed guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's Dax Harwood?
Yes.
And the other one is Dash...
Wilder,
yes. Wait, that's his AEW name?
No, it's Cash. Oh shit! I'm fucking it up.
Ah, got him. You don't even know
Dax
either.
Hardwood, Cash Wheeler.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I liked Dax Harwood's promo quite a bit. MJF comes out, says some shit. Sean Spears.
He's
whatever.
just the comedy guy in the group now. I've got to that point. I can't take him seriously.
So they cut a promo on the Inner Circle, who have gotten over them on every turn except for when MJF shoved Jericho off the top of the cage. And then after they cut their promo, Inner Circle takes their limo, ruins their limo. Swagger's driving a fucking forklift, and he takes it into the limo, and he lifts it up, and he crashes it. I mean, it's a cool visual, but whatever. When is the Pinnacle going to get over? What are they doing? If we're having this conversation, they are having this conversation.
I don't think they are.
So the whole point is to get the Inner Circle even more over?
I mean, not like they don't need to get over at this point. You know, clearly they're over. They were over as heels.
That's my point.
When the crowd was singing Judas when Jericho was coming out.
That's my point, though. It's like, what the fuck?
I don't get why they're doing this. White Man Can't Jump is one of my favorite movies, and in that movie,
Your mama was an astronaut.
Man, Opie's over here pissing on you. Oh, he's pissing on me now. Man, Inner Circle is over here pissing on the Pinnacle. Every fucking turn. Keep thinking, okay, this is the time where the Pinnacle gets over on one. You know, just for a segment. But maybe the Pinnacle gets over, and then, quote unquote, lost this segment again.
Two guys, you and I, we've never wrestled a match in our life.
Ain't
never
trained.
trained. all we do is watch wrestling and talk about it, right? We're a bunch of fucking marks. We are not pretending to know anything more than these guys that actually have the pencil, like you said, actually do the booking, actually think about this stuff backstage. Wouldn't it make more sense to have the Pinnacle, like, picking on the Inner Circle rather than the other way around, or to do something just to, like, lay up Jake Hager and, you know, put him in a stretcher or something, and before that cage match that him and Wardlow are having, well, like, wouldn't it make more sense to do that?
I'm thinking this might be a scenario where they do it, you know, bit by bit. Wardlow goes over Hager. Sammy goes over Sean Spears. FTR, Santana Ortiz right now is a push. It feels like Santana Ortiz kind of needs it a little more. And then obviously you would have Jericho and MJF.
Man,
to
let
kind
Jason
of seal the deal.
Give Jason Bell the pencil.
I wish.
Let this motherfucker book the territory. That makes sense.
Why, with Wardlow and Hager coming up in this cage match, I guess that's tomorrow night? Is that tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Okay. That might start to at least set a tone to where I was going with. I would expect Wardlow to win that match, but not dominate, but just get some of that lost momentum we were talking about.
There's no way Hager wins that match, right?
I hope not.
Okay, can we say unequivocally right now on this podcast, me and you,
Okay.
there's no way that Jericho goes over MJF in their eventual rubber match.
No way.
No way. Right?
MJF goes over, period.
And I think that's the most important thing. And like,
yeah, everything else is Sammy Guevara is probably the next guy up.
I mean, I don't care what happens to FTR and Santana Ortiz because both of them,
they're fine.
Yeah,
they're fine. The one guy that I think of all 10 guys that kind of needs that next level bump is Sammy Guevara. He should go over Sean Spears. Like I said, at this point, Sean Spears feels more comedy than me taking him seriously as the chairman of AEW, in quotes. Guevara should go over at that point, and then from there, you kind of let's start to figure out what's happening with the other singles titles. Maybe there's a tournament that Sammy Guevara could win that gets him the number one contender spot. But he's the guy, to me, that's on deck. That's the guy that's waiting to be that next breakout star amongst this little feud, him and Wardlow.
All right, next up, we have Sting and Darby Allin. Now, at the risk of shitting on this too much, I want Jason to... you know what? I don't care what you think about this segment. I want you to sell me on it, all right?
Well, you're going to have Darby Allin going against, obviously, his, I won't say longtime rival, but one of his rivals in Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky in a handicap match. I think this is another good chance to kind of get Darby Allin over, more of a singles guy, make him a more of an underdog babyface than he kind of already is coming in.
And Darby Allin asked Sting
to stay out of it no matter what happens.
Not to be there, right?
Sting, obviously, are you sure? Are you sure? Which, of course, the veteran is supposed to do because the veteran has been down this road before. I'm sure
Sting's
Sting...
like, sure, yeah, I'll stay at home and watch my old Matlock DVDs. You guys ever seen Picket Fences?
You ain't shit.
Old ass motherfucker.
So Sting is going to stay home for this match. I think, like I said, I think this is all on the road to Darby Allin's big picture story where ultimately he will get a title shot. I'm not saying it's against Kenny Omega, but at some point he will go for the title. This is one of those little milestone moments where, God forbid, if he wins this match, which he should not win this match. Okay, let's get that off the table. He's going to come in, have a great match, but he shouldn't win it because, I'm sorry, 2-on-1, especially with Sting hanging in the background, not unless
and
Dark
two
Order,
guys that you should be building up.
Not unless Dark Order comes out.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You're selling this to me. Sorry.
You got a chance to make Darby Allin a possibly a bigger baby face than what he already is, or just stoke the fire to it. Better choice of words. This is that chance they're going to do with it. Hopefully they do the right thing and have Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page go over so they can get some of that momentum back that they lost a little bit at what was the last pay-per-view they had?
Double or Nothing.
Thank you.
They lost too much. They lost too much, if you ask me. I think
it's a little bit. It's not losing the Sting isn't the end of the world. It's really not.
Okay, so tell me what you really think. What do you think about this segment where Darby Allin's asking Sting not to interfere?
Okay, I mean, what you want to get your head handed to you? I mean, basically, this is why I hate baby faces.
They should fucking squash him.
Without question, but Darby Allin is going to make this thing probably a little more interesting than what it should be. Ethan Page already threw this motherfucker in like the 5th row at Double or Nothing. He should be doing more of that in this match where you have a handicap.
He threw him like Roman Reigns throwing Dominic.
Dude, okay, that should be the next poll on BFR Pod, who had the worst bump. This shouldn't be nothing but a squash, but I don't think it will be. I think... Honestly, I think Darby Allin's going to keep this thing close enough to where it's going to make it a little less realistic than it should be.
They'll have him be plucky.
Right. They can't keep him down. They can't. We get that.
He'll probably ride his skateboard down the ramp, which Zach really likes.
Look, I like Darby Allin.
Hey, Zach.
But you're a nerd. I like Darby Allin. But in this scenario, there is no reason on God's green earth, if it stays 2-on-1, from start to finish, that he shouldn't be getting his mud hole stomped and walked dry by these two guys. You brought him in for a reason. You brought Ethan Page in for a reason, and now you put them together for a reason. Don't make them like the Pinnacle. They got to win this match.
Little JR there from JCB.
I saw a little something on Instagram today.
All right, so here's something else that I hated. Miro versus Evil Uno. So, obviously, I'm a big Miro mark. I love Rusev. I love him exactly how he is. I saw people on Twitter saying, well, this is more him being serious than him being video game Miro. No, it's all the same to me. I think he's all the same character. I think he's a badass that has a funny sense of humor, that can still go into a badass and be a heel if he wants to. But I think if they made him a face, I think he'd be massive in front of crowds. If they really let him... Listen, this has been going on since the podcast has started.
For sure.
I have been a Miroslav. I forget his last name. I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway.
The fact that I'm over here saying nothing says volumes.
I've been a mark for a long time. He's great.
Without question. I like this Miro version. I know what people are... I get what people are saying, he came in as this gimmick, but I just think this was something that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either.
You know, Rusev Day for, you know, the WWE exclusive guys wasn't obviously dropped to them by Vince and creative. Him and Aiden English came up with that on their own. The crowd, you know, for whatever reason, jumped on it. And then next week, it became this thing. You know, now they're singing and they're chanting this shit, and it's a whole fucking own entity. I agree with what you're saying on that sense because I think people remember that.
Thank you.
People that are WWE guys usually watch AEW too because that's the bridge. Either you watch both or you're rejecting WWE and you're watching AEW. And I think I would assume that those same people remember Rusev Day. Rusev can get over as a face, but I think that's just later on. It's like you always say, to be a good babyface, you got to be a good heel first. And I think this is where we're going on that road to having Miro being the next long-running TNT champion. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully a long-running heavyweight champion. I mean,
first things first, man.
Okay.
let's let him have this title run first. It should go to the end of the year.
My problem with this match was Evil Uno. Evil Uno is a chubby, slow, fucking indie wrestler, and this is the problem that I've had with Dark Order since the day they came in. This is the guy that, I mean, Evil Uno means he's one, right? So they have all their numbers, which is stupid. 10 comes in later on with Adam Page. I don't need to. And Miro sold the fuck out of Evil Unos. He sold him so good. He really put his all into it.
Made him look like $1 million.
He made him look like $1 million. But to the discerning eye, which is what I am, Evil Uno is a shit. You know, I don't want to call him a shit wrestler.
I think he's better as a tag team wrestler than he is as singles.
You mean where he has to wrestle half the time? I agree. They have Dark Order come down with Brody Lee's kid, and I understand that this was to put more heat on Miro because they were trying to make it a feel-good story because Brody Lee, R.I.P., had a connection to the TNT title because he was champion at one time. I don't... it's just... I want the Dark Order off of my television. I want them off of my television.
It's not going to happen.
Why are they riding these guys this hard? They have been here since the very beginning, and they have sucked since the very beginning.
I'm not going to go that far. Obviously, I was a Dark Order apologist. I'll just go this far.
Well, you can. I mean, people can admit that they're wrong.
No, I was wrong. I was wrong about it. There you go. Okay, mark the date down.
All right, so
you know, BFR 210. Jason was wrong for the first time.
I love that. Oh, I love that.
So that said, honestly, I think the reason why they're still on TV is, well, two reasons that I can think of. The first reason I just thought of, they're the only babyface. Well, the Nightmare Family. They're the two babyface factions that you have on AEW. Everybody else are heel factions. So if you want to pit faction versus faction, you know, one is good, two is better. The other reason I think they're on TV, I think the biggest reason, and once they start touring, I think we'll see more of this, is that they're fucking over with other people that aren't you and I. Okay? The shit that they do on BTE, I think, is a main reason that they have popularity. Now, whether you like them in the ring or not, that's subjective. But
I don't.
Fair. I like Stu Grayson. I think he's totally underutilized, but that's another story for another time. The fact that I think they're on TV and on TV a lot, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, guys you don't normally see on Dynamite, but you see them on Dark and Dark Elevation, is because that's the hardcore base of the AEW, and they're behind the Dark Order. Guys like you and I that just watch the one show, there's four shows, including BTE, and there'll be the fifth when Rampage comes out. Okay? We watch one of the current four. So that's probably the reason why we don't connect with the Dark Order the way others that watch two of the four, three of the four, all four connect with them, because you see them in all facets in and out of the ring. We just see the one facet, and that one facet we see we don't like.
That's fine. We can move on without me criticizing our listeners. Kenny Omega and Don Callis come out, and Jungle Boy starts to get after Kenny Omega. He starts getting beat up, which is fine. It put a little bit of heat on this match. This is a match that I am super psyched to see.
Oh, yeah. This is...
because Jungle Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, could be the future of the business. Could be the future of AEW.
I was going to say, at least of this company.
He's 24. He just turned 24 last week. We just wished him happy birthday last week. And he is, while he's small, he's great.
Yeah.
And fighting Kenny Omega at 24 in a title match, not a whole, I mean...
It's win-win.
Yeah,
he would have to, like...
Kenny Omega's going over. Yeah. I don't think anybody doubts that. But Kenny Omega's going to make Jungle Boy look like $1 million bucks. I'm sure Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy probably text each other shit back and forth. I'm sure Jungle Boy has gone up to Kenny Omega and said, because I know that Kenny Omega is very generous with his time from what you read. I'm sure Jungle Boy texts him, like, questions and ideas.
I expect this to be a tight match because they're hyping it up. It's going to be a main event match, obviously, because it's Kenny Omega.
It's a fun idea, and it's a fun match, and they put the right guy over, and I'm so happy that they did because it's better than Christian versus Kenny Omega.
Easily. It's what we were talking about earlier. It's the difference between being predictable and unpredictable. Predictable was for Double or Nothing. We all picked Christian Cage because that led to a title shot. We connect the dots. It makes sense. What made that match great is they threw us the Jungle Boy curveball. And now you had the right booking. You had a great moment after the match when Christian came up. When in the back of my mind, I'm like, is he going to turn on him? Is he going to flip on him? Because this is a scenario. Use to Christian. This is a scenario where you could have had Christian flip just out of jealousy. You shouldn't beat me. I'm the old veteran or whatever. He gave him props. Basically, don't fuck this up. This is your one chance, and walked off. You couldn't have scripted it any better.
I gotta admit, they have used Christian perfectly thus far.
So far, so good. I don't have any problems with what they've done with Christian.
There was a promo backstage with Jade Cargill. Now, listen, I'm a very big proponent of women's wrestling. And I'm not saying this to be sexist or anything, but you think if Jade Cargill came into Jack Patrick's and I was bartending for her and she asked for an appletini or something and I made it for her, do you think that she would flirt with me, or do you think that she would look at me like I was a peon and there's no way that she would even give me the time of day?
Are we talking kayfabe style?
No. Shoot.
She might fuck with you a little bit. You gotta go. When you don't want to be fucked with, you're like me in this scenario. When you don't want to be fucked with, we have everybody at arm's distance. Back the fuck up. Let me do my job. I got 6 shots over here. This motherfucker walked in. I got to get this motherfucker, I got a list of shit to do.
Oh, when I get a little bit of time and I can talk to a lady at the bar.
You got charm like we got charm. We got Scorpios like that. So in that scenario,
yeah.
I think you could be engaging enough to have a really good conversation without even bringing up the fact that, hey, you look familiar. Do I know you?
No, I'm not even talking about like if she was a wrestler. I'm talking about it just if she's this.
Well, no, because
if she's a 6'2",
just
gorgeous
Amazonian,
gorgeous black woman, just unbelievable.
Just literally taking the room over.
She's so good looking.
It's stupid. I mean, just God,
I know it's wrong.
Yeah,
and she's so tall. Do you think that, because I wouldn't be intimidated by her. I'd kind of be like, hey, I'd fuck with her. I'd be like,
Lay down here and give me a kiss.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. Come on.
I would. I'd say, I ain't scared. Get out here and give daddy a kiss. Mwah. Get over here, girl.
Well, that's our Jade Cargill talk for the day. No, I think Jade Cargill is badass, and I think
Slow burn is good.
She's a really good promo, too.
Yeah, without question. And like I said, at this point, I don't necessarily think that she needs to be in the ring. The character is what we need to worry about more. In-ring is already good. The more she's in the ring, the better she'll get. I'm sure she's training, behind the scenes. But the character is now what we're trying to concern with. Because if she gets that, then Britt Baker's might be in a little trouble.
I'm going to blast through the last couple parts of these. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, cut a promo. Any thoughts on that? I mean,
no, they basically said what I said. You know, we should be stomping that ass.
Lance Archer comes in, destroys a jobber, and runs out of the ring and goes right back up the ramp, which I like. That's what Lance Archer needs to do. He needs to not be celebrating wins against jobbers, but they do need to start getting them some wins.
What? Here's the problem with AEW, at least my problem with AEW, when they're saying wins and losses matter. Okay, that's great, but, I mean, the squash job is equal to a win versus a Kenny Omega. Well, I shouldn't say Kenny Omega, but
kayfabe style.
Kayfabe style.
You can only beat who's in front of you.
Agreed.
Right?
Okay, so let's look at the guys that at least Lance Archer has lost to. Okay?
I understand.
It's still, a who's who of AEW, and he's still kind of like on the outside in. And then you have guys that, have like, they win 7 to 8 dark matches. They're, ranked in the top 5. Okay, see, that's not how it's supposed to work. You can build the numbers up with the unranked guys, but at a certain point, that's when you have, and that's why I like UFC, you have a number in front of one guy's name and then a number in front of another guy's name. That should be enough to be a draw into itself. If you build around those numbers, now that's where the rankings mean something. The rankings don't mean shit, okay? Ultimately, at least for me, they don't mean shit. It's a good reason for us to talk about it. It's a good reason to have debates. But at the end of the day, they don't mean anything because they don't do it the right way.
All right, so we were talking not we. I've always said that there's too many factions in the AEW, and now there's one called the Wingmen.
We had this faction. I mean, that they're an AEW dark faction. I can't think of Pretty Picture, I think was their name before they changed it to the Wingmen, whatever.
Ooh, I like both those names, actually.
I like the Wingmen a little better, but that's
it's
just
pretty
me.
good.
Yeah, the Pretty Picture I thought was good. I think I like the Wingmen a little better. When they get the trios titles in, then you'll have these other guys that don't have anything to do. You'll give them something to do. At that point, I get what you're saying, but I'm not going to say that they have too many factions because I think the pandemic kind of stopped some of the growth of the factions. Dark Order being the biggest, that and the Brody Lee death. I think once we start getting things, quote unquote, back to normal, these factions are going to come into play. You're going to see, like I said, when Moxley comes back, you're going to have him and the Bucks and Eddie Kingston cross paths again. It's just going to happen. Moxley's just not going to let Kenny Omega have these runs of title matches and not cross paths again. They're going to have to cross paths again. So at a certain point, it's all going to play itself out. Good and bad factions are going to intermingle. Inner Circle hopefully will lose a feud against the Pinnacle at some point. That's the one that you really need to kind of root for. Is that the Pinnacle starts going over the Inner Circle at some point. It feels
like AEW is trying to do all these factions. I don't think I've ever said this before, but stop me if I have. It feels like AEW is trying to have all these factions because they're trying to be kind of NJPW-like, where they have all these factions. The difference between NJPW factions is that guys are in factions, but they come out by themselves. They're not always surrounded by their guys. Shingo is not always surrounded by LIJ,
Yeah, I was about to say LIJ be like, fucking go do your thing. You getting whooped by Chaos? We be back at stage chilling.
Do you have anything to say about Nyla and Layla Hirsch?
Layla Hirsch is an amazing talent. I just think this is obviously just a build to Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker. That's really about it. I mean, no, it's not a knock against Layla Hirsch. Like I said, I've seen her in Starter. I think she's great. This was a good chance to, get her some eyes on her that some people may not have seen her before. But like I said, at the end of the day, this is Britt versus Nyla. Let's just fast forward, hurry up, get it over with so she can lose.
And in the main event, we had Team Taz versus 10 and Adam Hangman Page. Brian Cage is still slowly turning babyface. Feels like a really long turn.
It's a slow burn, but I think
I don't mind a slow burn, but
maybe part of it is, they're trying to wait for Ricky Starks to heal up because I think that would be the way that the story is going. Ricky Starks is the guy that's like, here, take the belt. Brian Cage's like, no, I don't need this. It's happened a second time now. So, the natural progression of storyline would have Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. Obviously, Ricky Starks is, not to be able to wrestle, so you're going to have to at least slow roll it for a little bit. Do I agree it's going a little slow? Yeah, but I think that's the reason why they're slow rolling it, is that the end game, at least for the first part, is Cage versus Starks.
Do you agree that that's a lot of Dark Order for 2 hours of television?
For some guys that have very little to do with any of the immediate title pictures, it is a lot of Dark Order.
Thank you for agreeing with me.
1, 2, 3.
Jason, you get 2 counts tonight.
Yeah, I wish. We're going to obviously go into the Hell in the Cell predictions here in a little bit, but just some kind of quick thoughts on, at least from my point of view, of just overall main roster thoughts on SmackDown. We had Rey Mysterio calling out Roman Reigns at the end of SmackDown to basically set up their Hell in a Cell match for the Universal title on Sunday afternoon. I'll say this, and I know a lot of people have kind of, shitted on the fact that it's Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns.
That means, you've been shitted on.
I'm not even a parent, and I totally understand where Rey Mysterio is coming from. Do I expect him to win? Predictions coming up here in a second, but I at least can connect the dots of why he's doing it. You can't just be throwing my little boy around the week I call you out and not have repercussions. You can't just be whooping my son like if I was in the stands of the wrestling match itself and it was Dominic versus Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio was in the stands and Dominic was getting worked over 2 weeks ago like Roman Reigns was. I would expect Rey Mysterio and Wifey to be coming out of the stands, running down, you can't hurt my baby like that. That's the shit that people forget. I get people want to see these dream matches. Okay, I get that. But if you stop and think about it, Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns is a good match on paper. You have a decorated veteran in Rey Mysterio. Before Daniel Bryan, this was the ultimate underdog. And now you have the guy that's basically running SmackDown.
Listen, Rey Mysterio has been so good for so long. Really over 20 years when I think about how long I've been watching professional wrestling as an adult. This is a dream match that I didn't know that I wanted.
Until it happened.
And now listen, I don't want to give anything on the predictions away, but I'm going to take Roman Reigns. But they've done Roman Reigns matches.
I hate to give this away, but Rocky wins this one too.
Roman Reigns matches since he's been champion have been so intriguing and booked so well. And what do you want when you're watching a wrestling match as a wrestling fan? You want them to tell a story in the ring. And they have done a fantastic job with Roman Reigns matches, be it against Jey Uso. They had 2 against Jey Uso.
And both were good.
Both were good.
For various reasons, but both were good.
He pinned Daniel Bryan on top of Edge at WrestleMania. Fucking awesome, right?
Never saw that coming.
No,
to this day, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
He's had matches against Kevin Owens.
Cesaro
that have been tremendous.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
Solo.
The Cesaro match was fucking great, too. So, when you have Roman Reigns, the last time we saw Rey challenge for a belt was against Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, I think in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, because I think we're doing the pod at that point.
We were doing the pod.
I think there was a step to it to where...
It was a really fun match.
Right.
Because Brock has fun with little guys. And Ray can obviously still at the age of, I mean, he's 46 or 47 or something.
Give or take.
I mean, his kid's 24. I mean, he's not that much older than me, not having my first kid. At least I waited until I was in my 40s, so when I'd had the most energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I am looking forward to how they book this Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns match. And also, I'm down with this match being in the cell because of the family aspect.
You fucked with my son.
Yes.
You beat him like a redheaded stepchild on 2 separate occasions in back-to-back weeks. Fuck you. It's on. In kayfabe style.
It makes complete sense.
It makes total sense, and I have no problem
and Ray
with that.
said he wanted him in the cell, and that's cool to me. I look forward to how they book this because I guarantee you it's going to be good because I'll tell you what, guys. This is the second week in a row I've watched SmackDown all the way through. The other day I was building an IKEA thing, which takes about 2 hours, and I put on my iPad and I turned on SmackDown. Fuck, man, it ruled. It's like a really good soap opera with how Roman Reigns is fucking with Jay and Jimmy. When he called Jay Jimmy and he goes, "I'm Jay," he goes, "What's the difference anymore?"
I'm like, oh. I mean, it was like, damn.
It's really good.
It was so like, oh shit. So much is happening, and I had to, take it in. That was obviously last week.
It's the Roman and the Uso show.
It really is because now we're starting to see Jay getting pushed into the middle, and now what does Jay do?
He said, "You come see me have Roman come see me in my locker room, our locker room."
I was like, "Oh
Roman
shit!"
goes, "You guys got a locker room?"
I was like, "Uh-oh,
That's good shit.
It's getting ready to be on."
And I'm completely intrigued.
Yeah, when he got up, he was like, "Let's go to your locker room."
You know what I hope it comes down to, and I was thinking about this the other day when I was putting up that fucking shelf for that baby that's ruining my life. Listen, I gotta go to concerts, baby.
She doesn't care about that. You know that, right?
The baby?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a girl?
Yeah, I said that last week.
Yeah,
I think it's a girl.
She doesn't know that she's ruining my life right now. Because I was supposed to go to Fish. I was going to go to the Gorge. I was going to do drugs. I was going to have fun.
Yeah. You better start figuring that shit out this weekend because that shit's getting ready to come to a screeching halt.
But I was thinking about this while I was putting up that IKEA thing. A triple threat match between Jimmy, Jay, and Roman Reigns. Whew, that sounds badass. Like where they start teaming on each other. Like they have so much room to tell stories in that. Like that would be a SummerSlam match that I would be so into.
I was thinking more Royal Rumble, but whatever. I mean, neither here nor there. I think
they're not really taking any shortcuts with Jimmy though. Jimmy came in right away in the story and was like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck's going on here?
Fuck you.
Like, what's your problem?"
Yeah, fuck you, okay?
Jay, why are you acting like that? And he's like, "Fuck you." Immediately. He came out and cut a promo on Roman at the beginning of SmackDown. That shit is 100 times better than Raw.
The fact that he came out and was like, I want to be tag team champions, and Roman had a problem with that. Now you're already, if you're, just not a complete Roman Reigns mark, you got to understand where Jimmy is coming from at this point. I mean, damn, I came back. I'm coming back from injury. It's all love. Fans back in the house, and we want to go for the tag team champions. You got a problem with this?
Right.
I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
It's not like we said we want to go for the title. No, man, we just want to have.
But Roman plays it so cool.
Good. It's so good.
I'm rewatching The Wire. And I'm on season 4 where Marlo Stanfield really starts getting into it. Remember Marlo and Chris Partlow? And Roman's kind of like Marlo. He's like, when Prop Joe's talking to me, he's like, "Nobody's going to fuck with you if you join the co-op." And Marlo's like, "No one fucks with me now."
Right.
And then Prop Joe starts to say something else. He goes, "Nobody fucks with me now," and holds out his hand to shake his hand. That's how Roman is.
Pretty much. I mean, he runs the show.
He's Roman Stanfield.
Yeah, he basically runs the show.
He's Marlo Reigns.
With iron fist. I want to see, the only other thing I want to see that happens that's kind of non-Roman SmackDown related is Sonya Deville. They keep teasing, and on Raw too, they keep teasing the fact that, there might be some sort of, I guess, friction, for lack of a better term, between her and Adam Pearce. Somewhere down the line, this has to pay off, because she got Charlotte in.
Not necessarily. It's WWE. It doesn't have to pay off.
Okay, better choice of words.
Who
I would
was
like it to pay
who
off.
was the anonymous general manager?
We have no fucking clue.
No, they said who it was.
Oh, wait.
Do you remember who the official answer was?
What was
It was Hornswoggle.
Swoggle?
The little person.
Yeah,
For those that don't remember.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to
pay it off. Okay.
They don't have to pay it off.
I would like for them to pay it off. Okay, better choice of words.
Sure, that's fine. You know what storyline I'm into on SmackDown is Alpha Academy.
Really?
Yes. I think Chad Gable and Otis. I love Otis as a heel.
Do you like the clean shaven Otis or the bearded Otis?
I like the clean shaven Otis.
It was weird for him. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they made him. They put him over as best they could in the segment they had. It was just weird to watch him without a beard.
Whose idea do you think it was to make him heel? Do you think he came to them and was like after he won Money in the Bank,
right?
And then lost it to Miz, and then Miz won, and Miz was the definition of a transitional champion.
I mean, literally, look it
Yes.
up in the dictionary. You see Miz holding up the title with Bobby Lashley over his shoulder and
Right.
shit. If somebody could make a meme of that would be the shit.
But I was real pissed off when Otis won Money in the Bank because he's a comedy act, and the comedy act shouldn't be up there. I didn't feel that way about Damian Sandow, who was also very funny, but Damian Sandow could wrestle.
It just felt different, yeah.
It did. And then he lost it, and then they fired his tag team partner, kept him, and then they put him in with Chad Gable, who was in American Alpha with Jason Jordan, who were incredible. Were incredible.
But that's a what-if story. What if Jason Jordan stays healthy?
Oh, wrestling looks way different right now. At least Raw does.
I think tag team-wise it looks a little different. Raw looks different.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have kept together American Alpha. But anyway, Chad Gable is fucking awesome. He fought Montez Ford the other night for 7 minutes.
Really good match.
They packed more excitement into those 7 minutes than Randy Orton's done in the last 4 years.
Hold up, man. Hold up. Okay. Let me be the RK Bro defender over here. I didn't like RK Bro to begin with. I was waiting. I'm counting the minutes that Randy turns on.
No. I'm fine with RK Bro.
Okay.
I'm just saying the last 3. I'm just saying Randy Orton's really fucking boring.
He doesn't have to be flashy. He's just good enough, consistent enough, and I've said this before. He's just that good to where he doesn't have to be flashy.
I always think about what CM Punk said in the pipe bomb promo. He goes, this company will make money in spite of itself. And they fucking make money in spite of themselves.
No question about that.
Did you watch Raw the other night? I almost forgot we were recording. I'm getting so worked up. Did you watch Raw the other night?
Yes.
It was pathetic. It could not have been worse. It was like they're not even trying. They had Jeff Hardy wrestled for his career against Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander came out during a Jeff Hardy match and said, I'll fight you right now, but if you lose, you retire.
No, Jeff Hardy put it out there.
Okay, fine. And then Cedric Alexander took
lost.
it. Why not just build that up for a week and give it more than 2.5 minutes, which is all they gave it?
Dude,
that would be exciting.
Yeah.
I would like to see Cedric Alexander and Jeff Hardy get 15 minutes or 12 minutes.
People forget, and I will never forget, Cedric Alexander and Kota Ibushi had one of the best Cruiserweight Classic matches that I think they've had in that whole first tournament when they first did it.
Oh, I've never seen that match. Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander?
Negro, please. Go find it and watch it.
Dude, I've never seen that match.
Now, that said...
Didn't know it existed.
Now, that said, the fact that match exists is the fact that I have a problem with Jeff Hardy winning this impromptu retirement match. Okay, so we break up the Hurt Business. You have Sheldon and Cedric beef, which is natural. That's what, former tag team partners do. And then you're going to have them lose to fucking Jeff Hardy. Look, I know there's Jeff Hardy fans out there. God bless you for it. But it's not like this man needs a push of any sort. He has done literally
He's won twice in a row.
Thing that you could possibly do in the WWE.
Except for go to AEW and start a feud with Christian. That's the only thing he hasn't done yet.
At this rate, you give it a little bit, he'll be on the way over.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Sorry.
That's my
Wasn't trying to cut you off.
No, I just have a huge problem with the fact that Cedric Alexander could be. I'm not even saying he could be a champion. He could be a solid mid-card guy, somebody that you can depend on, a workhorse guy. You know, where the old IC championship came into play.
Sure.
He could be that guy. The other thing on Raw,
Uh-huh.
Kofi Kingston and MVP I don't know if we're teasing.
I mean, you didn't let me get to it.
Well,
that's fine. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
I don't know if we're teasing the Kofi heel turn.
Like, I have an outline here, and I go through the outline, like, to lead us on the conversation. You always say, you're the quarterback, right? That's what you always say?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm
So
a
when you
wide
start
receiver,
taking over,
so I'm a diva, so I'm always open. I'm always open.
This feels more like a flea flicker.
Fucking run down the field. I'll throw it to you. The Kofi thing is intriguing just because we've never seen Kofi as a heel, I don't think. Have we ever seen Kofi as a heel at any point in
Maybe
WWE?
Maybe at the very, very beginning they might have tried it.
Maybe.
Tried it for a couple SmackDowns or something.
And it didn't work.
And it didn't work.
I don't think
back in like 2008.
Yeah. And and we're like, fuck it, just let him be, the funny Jamaican guy.
Right.
This could actually work.
Kofi is a heel?
If you played it right, because I know how much you love Xavier Woods.
I was going to say, it makes way more sense for him to be a heel.
Right.
And I would hate him.
Okay. For me, Kofi being the heel makes it a little more interesting because we had Kofi Mania. It was one of the great stories that we had in the last 5 years, arguably in WWE.
Easily.
It would be
if not the best.
It would be no different when Daniel Bryan flipped heel and he became like the Earth's champion or whatever. He changed the belt, the whole shebang.
Yeah, I'd say the Kofi thing, in terms of WWE, was the best thing to happen in the last 5 years.
So now,
that really generated excitement.
If you wanted to try to put some guys around Lashley, if you think, okay, we made a mistake, with Sheldon and Cedric taking away from Lashley, Kofi is a good, and they're at least teasing it to the point where now I'm at least thinking about it. Could it possibly happen? Kofi's like, no.
Kofi joins the Hurt Business?
Kofi helps Lashley in some form or fashion.
Well, they have to be doing those segments, which they've been doing for a while, 3 or 4 weeks. They have to be doing them for a reason, right?
Yes.
It's leading somewhere, unless they bail on it, which they've been known to do.
So,
but, yes, I'd love to see Kofi as a heel.
It's intriguing.
Maybe he'd be great. I mean, really, I thought Roman would be great. Roman's better than I thought he would be. He really is. That's no joke. He's better than I thought he would be.
Without question.
And maybe
I
thought
it was one level. It is way surpassed.
When we watch the challenge and they're doing some challenge with hey, you have to hold onto this rope on a helicopter for 300 meters, and then we're going to drop you on a boat, and then you have to.
Big T is the one you don't think is going to be able to win it, and all of a sudden she wins it.
Exactly.
This is something very similar to that. I had certain expectations, and these expectations are being way blown away.
So what's to say Kofi couldn't do the same thing?
I won't say that because I think the
been
only reason,
a long time though.
The only reason I would say that
he's been smiling for a long time.
The only reason I won't say that is because...
Does that have racial undertones?
A little bit, but you're my brother. I love you. You can say that shit. The only reason that I say that...
I just say it because he's... I remember...
He does. No, he does.
But ACH had such a problem with it, though.
I just think it was the shirt.
And that was all about smiling, though.
I think it was the shirt was just a little too blackface-ish for most people's taste, including mine, but that's neither here nor there. The Raw creative team is different than the SmackDown creative team. And I think that's my biggest problem. Not even my problem, my biggest trepidation with Kofi turning heel. It sounds great, but can you capitalize on it? SmackDown could. I don't think Raw can. Raw has been way too dependent on Drew McIntyre, now leading to Bobby Lashley. And then from there, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Obviously, we'll have a winner on Sunday. And then from there, they'll depend on that person. You'll have a apparent draft coming up. So, I mean,
listen.
If this was
I'm not
SmackDown,
saying that I'm getting horny, but I'm saying that Roman Reigns can carry a show. Roman Reigns is a bigger star than any of those guys, by far. He looks the part. And he's almost like an actor. Like it's more acting than wrestling, really, with his matches, because he's so slow, and it's just a couple of fucking spears and a couple of Superman punches.
No, I won't. I'm not gonna get. I won't be like that with Roman. Okay.
Oh, you're not?
No, I mean he's added the obviously the submission is now more of the bigger, you know. Okay, the submission.
I mean, sure.
The submission, I think, is one of those things where when you have somebody like Cesaro just most recently, you know, you have this banger-ass match, it's physical as fuck, but now you basically put Cesaro to sleep. That says something. I mean, you know, pinning two people on guy says one thing. Putting somebody night-night says something else.
When he pinned both those guys WrestleMania, that was
that was
one of the hardest things I've ever seen.
That was the statement that Roman Reigns is the fucking man of WWE. Yeah. Anybody else that's got a problem with it can come see me.
I still can't believe it.
No, hell no.
It was so badass.
No. I know. You saw me. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, me and you were like punching each other in the face. I was like, bah.
I can't believe this. This is the greatest thing ever.
I was like Glass Joe, like, boing, boing, boing.
It's one of the best moments of the year, hands down. And that's why Roman, as far as I'm concerned, him and Rey Mysterio can come out and have an average match, and it wouldn't mess with me not one little bit, because he's had so many good matches. They put so much good faith into the bank that, God forbid, if him and Rey Mysterio had an average match, which I don't see happening, that bad boy can be easily overlooked in the grand scheme of things.
So here's the only thing we got to talk about on Raw that we're not going to talk about in predictions is Eva Marie brings out Piper Niven, who has been around for a while. She fights in NXT UK. She's been in a couple of Mae Young Classics.
Yeah, a couple of good matches against Kaylee Ray in NXT UK.
What do you think about Eva being Piper Niven's? It's got a little bit of a, I'm not going to say that. What do you think about it?
I said it on Twitter. There was something kind of funky coming into it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew something was up. So when Eva Marie comes out, obviously, she looks great. And then Piper Niven comes out behind her, and I'm like, okay, so that's the bodyguard? And then when she came out front, I'm like, motherfucker, here we go again. It's the recycled storyline that we've done before, but now I guess... I guess it can't be Eva Marie, but we've done this before where here's the face and then the heavy comes behind and does all the work.
I think they see a way to make a fake looking hot chick, basically. Like, she's so hot it doesn't look real. Eva Marie looks like a cartoon. And to have her come out and then have Piper Niven, who's a very pretty girl, and I'm not saying that she's not. I'm just saying that she is a big girl. It seems to me like they're going to try to make a little bit of money over having Eva Marie be a big-time heel for 6 months. They're going to get Piper Niven over as a babyface, like a plucky underdog, kind of. And then they're going to fire Eva Marie. They might fire them both.
No, that ain't going to happen. I was going to say Eva Marie's Instagram numbers are out of the water. I mean,
it's a really stone thought.
No, but I can see, honestly, I see why you say that, because that ultimately should be the end game, where Piper Niven is like, okay, motherfucker, I've done all this. I said that Eva Marie is going to get a title shot at the end of the year. You know, they moved Money in the Bank back, so I could easily see Piper Niven. Look at what's your boy's name?
I don't know.
The dude that was helping out Carmella. The guy that was taking all James Ellsworth. Okay, this could be
James Ellsworth is my boy.
Well, in this case, he's my boy because I was there at the event. Okay, so James Ellsworth can go up the ladder and drop the briefcase to Carmella.
I mean,
and then Carmella wins it. This could be that same scenario where then all of a sudden now Piper Niven is doing all the heavy lifting. Eva Marie comes down like she did last week. Now, who's the winner? Eva Marie's the winner.
That's actually like genius booking to have James Ellsworth climb the ladder and just throw down to Carmella. Unbelievable.
This could be no different.
This is when Vince is a genius. This and when he's getting Jimmy the Superfly Snuka out of jail for murder.
No, that ain't genius. That's just called money, motherfucker.
I tell you, it's genius. Listen, we got 5 minutes until the fucking Bucks and Nets start. You ready for predictions?
You see me over here like, come on, man. I'm okay, though. Just keep it moving, baby. Keep it moving. Everybody's scoring.
This is banned from ringside. Okay, so I got to add one to this because on Wikipedia there were only 5, but there's actually a 6th match that they probably haven't put on Wikipedia yet because SmackDown's coming.
Right.
But we'll start off with this one that hasn't been announced yet, but we're going to assume it's happening.
Okay.
Seth Rollins versus Cesaro.
Yeah, I think that's a very good assumption that's going to happen. I mean, fuck. Cesaro just came back. Nice little beat down on Bailey's Hello Ding Dong. I'm going to take Cesaro on this one. I mean, you just can't have Seth Rollins just running amok and not have Cesaro get a little receipt. I'm sure we're going to do this one more again, but for this scenario, I'll take Cesaro.
You know, I thought about this a lot when I was writing down the shit, and I was like, that match is going to happen. I'm going to put it on here. And it's like, I think thinking Cesaro's going to win is wishful thinking. I think they have bigger plans for Seth Rollins going to SummerSlam, and I think Cesaro is only there to win on the in-betweens. I have no idea why, but they make stupid booking decisions sometimes.
Isn't this an in-between?
I'm taking Seth Rollins. I'm just taking Seth Rollins.
For the second argument, isn't this the in-between? This is Hell in a Cell. It's not one of the big 4. It's not Money in the Bank.
Yeah, but Seth put him out. I mean, you might be right. I'm taking Seth Rollins.
Okay. All I'm saying on this is the counter argument. Seth Rollins is in the spot where you can put him against Roman Reigns at any point, and it would be a main event match for the title. Cesaro, we need to keep him hot.
You're overthinking it.
No, we need to keep him hot just because, WWE draft's coming up, man.
I mean, this is sad.
He could be a first-round pick.
We don't know who Zach took. We're going to guess Sting. All right. We have Bianca Belair versus Bayley, not in the Hell in a Cell, although I think it probably could have been.
It could be.
This is their 3rd match, right? They fought at WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, but I don't think they had the middle match yet.
No, they fought at WrestleMania. Oh, no, Sasha Banks. Sorry. Okay, yeah, you're right. This is only number 2. Just let me keep talking, man. I'll sound like an idiot.
No, I was going to stop you, but you stopped yourself. I'll go first again. Obviously, it's got to be Bianca Belair. I mean, Sasha's on the on-deck circle.
Yeah.
This is going to be good to see her being more established. Bayley's been kind of a thorn in her side. God damn, Bayley's so good as a heel. We were worried about Kofi Kingston being his heel. Maybe Bayley is an example of
We would have worried about her, and she's great.
Great. So maybe Kofi Kingston be the same thing.
Totally agree. I'm taking Bianca Belair also. I think Bayley is there to put her over. Bayley's a made woman for a long time.
I think, Zach's going to take Darby Allin. Darby Allin's going to win that
Zach
match.
took Darby Allin. That is outside the box, but,
2 beers got his ways.
He really does. So, coming up next, we have Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. Now, I'll go first here.
Is this a match on the...
This is a match on the card.
Really? Oh, that is a match, yeah.
No stipulations.
It need to be.
So, I think this is the dumbest angle they've had in 15 years.
Wow. Considering this is WWE and they've had some dumbass angles.
This is the dumbest angle they've ever had. No, I mean, nobody even knows what it is. People don't like it. Nobody likes it. Who is watching Shayna Baszler run through the back of a locker room like she's in a horror movie? Nobody's fucking watching that. It's so stupid. I'm taking Shayna Baszler. Because if Alexa Bliss wins this, I'm just going to be fucking mad. And I shouldn't be mad about the lower card women's Raw division. Because Raw sucks.
Yeah, you tell him.
He's heating up.
Who are you taking?
I'm sorry, you got to take Alexa Bliss. I mean, call this for what it's worth. Whether you like it or not, this is an Alexa Bliss storyline where they put too much time into Alexa to all of a sudden now just have Shayna Baszler, who they have not given a shit about on the main roster since day one, come in and win this match. It makes no sense, not unless you got some real chicanery going on, not unless Shayna Baszler has captured some magic between Monday and Sunday. I mean, damn, Lily should be at ringside. You know, Alexa's got her own fucking magic. This should be a cakewalk. What's the difference between 2 and 4?
That was a great question for a dinosaur.
Interesting. So that being said, I'm gonna still take Alexa Bliss on this one. Like I said, it's just way too much time invested for them to all of a sudden just be like, fuck it, we're gonna take Shayna Baszler. I'll take Bliss.
Okay. We got 3 matches.
Who's that got? Not Rose. Not Rose for Zach.
No. Hold on. Let me listen again. Take Auntie.
I was about to say, I think we got overvoted.
Okay, so there's 3 matches left. I'm going to get the one that we both said out of the way. Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio. I'm taking Reigns.
I will take Reigns as well.
Like I said, interested to see how they book it.
Kenny Omega? I think, yep. Kenny Omega for Zach.
No, Zach is actually taking... Hold on. That's Ishii. That would be fucking
that
crazy.
That would be an amazing title.
If Ishii...
you just see Ishii. He's just like, fuck it, I'm climbing this fucking...
If Ishii came into...
I'm climbing this fucking thing. I'm going up the fucking gate. I'm climbing in this bitch. I'm climbing the WWE Universal title.
All right, last 2 are hard. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
I think in my heart of hearts, and I've never been right about one of these, but I think in my heart of hearts that they're going towards a Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar SummerSlam match. I'm taking Lashley. Or as Leo Rush would say, Lashley!
The former Leo Rush, apparently he's retired.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
No, he didn't die.
Yeah, right. Exactly. His wrestling career is stopped. If Drew doesn't win, then he can't challenge for the title anymore. That's the big step. Okay? The fuckery aside,
well, he can't challenge for
Lashley's title.
Yeah.
So that basically...
That's the third match.
Okay, but that basically means that, Drew is gone from the heavyweight scene for a hot minute.
They're having a draft coming up. He's going to SmackDown probably. So they can get the...
Okay.
Reign.
So there's the rub.
I shouldn't keep...
So there's the rub.
Go ahead, make your pick.
I'm going to take Lashley on this one just for the simple fact that, unfortunately, if you let me go first, you'd probably pick the same as me. I was probably picking Lashley regardless.
I said too much.
No, Drew's basically gone through the Raw top of the card. Who else does he have to beat at this point? Who else has he not crossed paths with at this point? Okay? Show, Lesnar, Edge, Orton, Lashley, you name it, Drew's cross paths with them in some form or fashion.
All right.
It's time to go over to SmackDown.
Sure. Of course. Like, no big deal. In this match, Zach is taking Kairi Sane.
He's going to listen like, what the fuck?
All right. The last match, and I held this one off because this is the one I was having the most trouble with, is Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. 1-on-1, no Hell in a Cell, no special stipulations. It's for the WWE Women's title. Raw Women's title. You want me to go first? Because I know my answer. Do you know your answer?
No. But I have my guess, but you can go first. I can go first.
Well, I know mine. I won't change mine. Do you want to say yours?
Then I will go first. Charlotte is Charlotte. Listen, and it's really hard to bet against Charlotte at this point. I really don't think that Charlotte needs to have the title at any point. She's a made woman. Rhea Ripley obviously just got this bad boy. I'm going to take Rhea Ripley just for the simple fact that as far as I'm concerned, it would even it at 1-1. You can run it back. Charlotte can come back and get a title chance at any given point. No Becky Lynch around. Asuka's getting pushed in the background. Charlotte and Rhea are going to have to run this for a little bit. If it's not going to be Drew and Lashley, Charlotte and Rhea Ripley are going to be the repeat match on Raw moving forward to SmackDown, or not SmackDown, but to SummerSlam. I'm going to take Rhea Ripley.
Jason, look at the 2 letters I just wrote on the bottom of that.
CF.
Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is going to win this match because WWE is trying really hard to get Charlotte another title reign so that she can match Rick. And she can lose the title all the time. Like, it doesn't matter. That might be why her career seems so kind of weird, or why she's always there, because she's always losing it or always winning it.
Right.
Because they're trying to get her to Rick's 16?
Yes.
16, right?
He and John Cena. We have to, unfortunately, include his podcast.
Well, what I'm saying is they're trying to get her to 16 so they can try them out together.
Is that serious, though? I mean,
I think that Vince sees that as money.
Why is that money?
To have a father and a daughter both be 16-time champions, I mean, even though it's kayfabe and it's fucking stupid, like, Vince knows he can make money off that. You ever looked around you when you were in line buying a beer at a wrestling show?
A couple times, yes.
Yeah.
Because those lines just start to stagnate a little bit.
Yeah. They're not the, I mean, they'll buy into that.
I don't know. I get what you're saying. I just don't think that Charlotte is as marketable as you think. She is either hit or miss. Either you like her or you don't.
No,
there's no
nobody
gray
doesn't
area.
like her.
No, shit. Are you out your mind? There's plenty of people that do
Oh,
not
you're
like
talking
her.
about wrestling Twitter. This guy got into me the other night because I said that Vince probably likes the Thunderdome.
I saw that tweet.
And then this dude's like,
I was getting ready to get into it. I'm like, he's a big boy. He's got
he's
this.
like, you're not the first one to make this argument, pal.
Okay.
LOL. And I go,
I hate when people call me pal or bro or mother.
I hate
you don't
buddy.
know me.
I hate buddy unless we're buddies. You can call me anything else. Anything else.
Really?
Anything else except for buddy. If you call me buddy and we're not buddies, you can call me buddy. My buddies can call me buddy.
Right.
But if some guy walks up to my dog and he's like, hey, buddy,
Right.
I'm going to be like, get the fuck out of here. Don't call me buddy.
I think bro is the one that really bothers me the most if I'm having wrestling Twitter debate. You know, blah, 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 bro. And I hear it the way it's kind of sounding condescending. So I'm just like, motherfucker, who the fuck are you?
But, so you don't hear it like Matt Riddle says it?
No.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Bro. Not at all.
No, so this guy starts fucking with me.
No, I saw the whole thing. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Tell the rest of the story.
And he goes, you're not the first one that has opinion. I was like, yes, I am. I'm the first one to have it, and I just trademarked it. And he was like, no, you're not. You listen to podcasts? People say this shit all the time. And I go, actually, I've listened to every single podcast, and nobody has said it yet. This is a 100% original thought. And he was like, whatever, dude.
You can tell you're being sarcastic. He's getting pissed.
He was super serious.
Right?
Like,
I was
nope.
like, yeah, he's got this.
I've listened to every podcast. And then he goes, there was some like online name. He's like, no, so the slut said it on this podcast, and I was like, nope.
You ain't shit. You getting that man all worked up.
All right, Jason, we all done?
Kota Ibushi and Shingo obviously coming up. I believe it's January, July 25th. Wrestle Grand Slam, I think, is the set date for their title event that should be coming up here in a little bit. So it's something else to look forward to in the world of New Japan. I believe the Neverweight 6-man titles are coming up here in a little bit. Neither here nor there. If you love that shit, great. If not,
let's go watch the Nets versus the Bucks.
then I guess that's it, boys and girls. We out.
That sounds fun, doesn't it, though?
Just a little bit.
Who do you think's going to win?
I told you, I
took
got the
Brooklyn
Bucks.
+6.
No, I got
Hey,
the
everybody.
Bucks.
There's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys
excited to
listening
get
to
out of here.
ours. I just want to say, I might have to play this twice. I just want to say that Juneteenth is coming up, and people are talking about Juneteenth now, and I'll admit, as a white guy, I'm late to it. But Juneteenth should certainly be cooler than July 4th, because shouldn't we all be celebrating when slaves got freed?
You would think.
You would think, like, why is that controversial?
You would think. However, again, you might have to play this gig because now I got to get my thought in.
Well,
I love
go
the
ahead.
fact that
Go ahead.
as a guy that waits tables, I love the fact that I have to come up to, tables that are a little older because, it makes me feel like it's going back to the 1850s, 60s. Just kind of shuffle and jive on up to the table. If, I don't say anything smart, I'll get this 20% tip, sir.
That's your thoughts?
Yo, that's the way I get through it. I mean, damn. We all got tricks.
I faked everybody out. We got some birthdays.
Look at you, fucking
Minoru Suzuki. I'm fucked up. Minoru Suzuki is 53.
That's going to be another Shingo opponent. I said it last week. I'm going to double down on that, especially after the backstage comments.
I meant to look these next three guys up to see if they're alive or dead.
Okay, go ahead.
Bruiser Brody.
Oh, he's definitely dead. Stabbed.
He would have been 75. Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew that. Coco Beware.
I think he passed too.
Well, he would have been 64. Happy birthday, Coco. Real name. Do you know it?
I do not.
Coco Beware.
Ain't this a bitch?
Earthquake.
He definitely passed.
He would have been 58.
God bless that
God,
dude.
this is a rough business.
Yeah.
Brandy Rhodes, you got a guess?
34.
38.
God, Jesus. God, I hate
She looks
Cody.
25, dude.
I know.
Billy
Cody.
Billy Kay, you got a guess?
You said 38 for Brandy.
No. Yeah, 38 for Brandy.
36.
32.
What the French? Jesus.
That was a great question for a dinosaur.
Yeah, I'm older than both of them.
Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to ours. For Murray the Murray Man Murray, for
Check.
Lucha Chris,
Check.
for Bill's Beard Company,
Check.
for Two Beer Zach Pullman,
Yeah,
who
the
is
other guy.
traveling across the country. God bless you.
Double
With all
check.
those kids and all that
Triple
gear.
check.
Motherfucker. Everybody,
Clark Griswold over
Black
there.
Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local weed dealer. Support
Double
your
check.
local restaurants.
Triple
For
check.
Jason Carolina this Bell, I am
Konnichiwa,
Bill
bitches.
Veggie.
Daddy's over here. He's getting ready to go watch the Bucks win tonight.
Boo the heels.
Woo!